What's up, everybody? My name is Jason Kirchhoff, Swell Runner, and today we're going to install a new winch line and a Factor 55 flat link thingamajigger. Cue intro. Wait, I don't really have an intro, and I don't really have a cool what's up intro thingamajigger either. I've thought about trying to come up with something, but I'm just not really that creative. I've been wanting to update the front winch thingamajigger from the standard hook thingy that it came with to one of those Factor 55 flat link. I don't really know the big benefit to those, but I know that it looks better. I think that it's probably technically a safer winching environment because this hook thing that I have right now, I think that it's perfectly fine and safe, you know, but they say that these hook things aren't as secure as something that's like a totally fastened, closed system loop. If you have some good technical explanations, let us know in the comments below. The idea behind it was, in order to put the flat link thing on there, I need to be able to put the end of the winch line onto this part right here. And with that hook, I've heard of some people being up cutting that hook and then putting the end of the winch line on this thing, but I didn't really want to mess with cutting the hook, so I decided just to buy a new winch line to begin with. And what I ended up going with was, and honestly at the moment, okay, so it's a Ranger 3/8 inch 100-foot durable Dyneema synthetic winch rope cable rated for 20,000 pounds with protective sleeve by Old Ranger. I know you missed these shots of me and my backboards talking to you, but I wanted to make a movie on this. Primarily, there's a huge, holy crap. What the? Wow. Look at the size of that June bug. Whoa, it's not even June. That thing's a monster. So I don't have a whole lot of experience messing with winch ropes, but I do know that whenever you're replacing the winch rope, whenever you're spooling is it winch rope or line? Because in boating, there are no ropes, it's all line. All I know is that you need to make sure that you're properly spooling it. I watched a video from Ronnie Dahl, so I guess that means I know everything now since he's the expert, but that's not true. Don't just disregard that. I am by no means considered to be an authority on this. You should you should do your own research regarding safety and how to do this and all that, but I know that when you spool a winch line, it needs to be done under tension. And the reason why is because when you're in a recovery situation and you need to use that winch line, if it hasn't been spooled under tension, what's going to happen is as soon as you put weight on that, it's going to squeeze that winch line down and it can cause damage to the winch line. I don't know if it can cause damage to the winch, but it can compromise the entire scenario. And so you just want to make sure that when the line is put onto the winch, spooled onto the winch, that it's done under tension. And that's what we're going to do today. But for starters, we need to pull the old winch line off. Yes. The thing I hadn't honestly considered was how I'm gonna get to the pin thing that holds this thing in. Maybe taking this off? Yes. I'm gonna take this thing off. This is called a fair lead. Is that what this is? I've got a helper. I wouldn't eat that, buddy. I don't think it'll hurt you, but it's got dirt and stuff on it. Here, eat this. What the heck? Oh, this is on your back. There you go. There's a bolt on the other side. It's a little persnickety there because the Rhino liner coating that we put on here. Did I tell you we did that? Yes. Winch is on, remote is on. It's not working. I've never charged this. I don't even know how you charge it. And it doesn't look like you can change the batteries easily, so I would assume that it should be charged. All right, so I got this out. I'm gonna see if, there we go. I just wanted to make sure that I knew because for some reason I thought that it looped over, but it doesn't. It definitely loops under. So I just wanted to make sure I knew. I'm gonna go ahead and unengage that, and I'm actually gonna turn the winch off as well, and unplug this because I don't need it to be plugged in while I'm messing with this for the moment. We're gonna find an Allen wrench. All right, I've got like a whole bunch of Allen wrench kits, but I have this one in the back of my truck. Oh, it fits. Yes. It just occurred to me that I'd like to have the next winch line ready to be put on there before I actually pull this off, so that I could just maybe real quickly and not have to, like, I don't know. Let me go get the other winch line, see what I have to. I don't have my watch on. I'm just gonna look and remind myself of what the date is. It's middle of May, you know, like May 11th or something. Actually getting ready to head out for Expo West, leaving Monday. But it's freaking hot outside, man. It's like 85 and like 90% humidity. I thought I was gonna be in Utah by this time. Okay, so I've got this thing right here, which is a, I'm gonna take a knee. This is a Factor 55, I think it's called a flat link. Max load 16,000 pounds. That should be good for me, I think, with the trailer and everything. I'm 9-ish, 10,000 pounds or so. I know my winch is a 12,000 pound winch. Anyway, so we've got this, and we've got this this thing right here. So this part is the part that goes up against the winch or the pin thing right here, and we'll just suck the thing in. This will go through the fair lead. I think it's called a fair lead. Haas is the style, right? And then fair lead is what it is. Anyway, this will go through there, and then this thing will be attached to this thing. And I bought these things right here. I don't even remember what these things are called, because inside here I've got this ring thingamajigger that I've got to get out. And then from here, just knock that thing out, put this thing right here in the middle, just like that. And then I drop this thing back in like that, and that way it can't go anywhere. And then you just need to put the little ring thingamajigger back in there, and then we're all set. Good to go. All right. I can't see anything. I think I found it. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna get it started, but like this little thing in here, I just want to make sure that it's angled up a little bit, so that whenever it goes down, it just nice and like the cable lays flush with the drum. I think it would work itself out anyway, but okay, that's good. And I'm actually gonna leave this thing plugged in for a minute, see if maybe it charges. Need to put this guy back on. That'll go like so. And then we're just gonna wrap this thing up around the bumper or something and get repositioned so that we can properly spool it, Ronnie Dahl style. Man, it's freaking hot. I'm gonna move the car up so I can be a little more in the shade. Much better. I'm not sure how tight this really needs to be, because it's like not really load bearing. It just needs to hold this thing in place. All right, that's about it. Well, that's about it for that. Oh man, this is so good. I'm super hungry, and I just want to have a light lunch. Lunchtime's over. All right, let's see what's next. All right, let's go over some basic winching safety features. So for starters, always wear gloves. And the rule of thumb is that you want to wear like loose gloves, because if they end up getting snagged somewhere, they'll hopefully rip the glove off and not your finger. Secondly, actually, this is firstly, I'm not an expert. If you don't know how to winch, if you have little experience winching, do your own homework, do your own research. Don't just listen to me. I've picked up some things over the last year or so since I've been kind of trying to learn about this stuff, but there are many other people that are actual experts that are online, that are available. I mean, you can do your own research. Don't rely on me to tell you what's good and what's bad and what's safe and what's not. Okay, back to the story. Wear gloves. You want to make sure that you're using like a closed loop system. So like whatever you attach the winch line to, I'm going to use a shackle. So the shackle will go in here like that. And then this is obviously going to be hitched onto the back of another vehicle, which actually I can't chalk, which is not good. I'll think about that in a second. You don't want anything open. So if something, well, you want it to all be closed to reduce the possibility of things breaking and coming undone or whatever. Never step over the winch line. I think some of the safety videos that I've watched, you can like step on the winch line. I've said you can step on the winch line, but the class I did at Overland Expo last year, East, I took a winching class at East. They said never step over the line or never step on the line. Just leave it alone, walk around the vehicle. Which, if you really think about it, maybe in like an emergency situation, that's maybe the safest way. But it's like, you should just be able to like, I just take the extra 2 seconds to run around the vehicle. That's what I would do. If you're winching, you want to put bags over the winch line. I think they call them aprons or mats or something, but I've got like these basically hanging things. You can put weight in them. And basically what happens is these winch lines, they're made to where they're not really they're not springy, right? So when they're under tension, they're not gonna just like, they shouldn't just like fly back. Especially these synthetic lines, they'll just drop to the ground. They're intended to just drop to the ground. So what you do is you have a couple of these mats, you put one here, like you spread them out on the line with some weights in it, like some rocks or something. And that way, if it comes undone, it just pulls the line to the ground, and that way it doesn't go flying all over the place. Wear closed-toed shoes. Never stand within the area that the winch line could like fly and hit you. So you never want to be in between the vehicle being winched or the anchor of the winch and the vehicle doing the winching that has the winch. But I'm going to violate that rule because in order to properly spool the winch, you have to be right here on the line, which is a little weird. But the other thing is that I think the assumption is that you're already taking some precautionary measures to make I mean, it has to be done that way. I mean, I don't know any other way to properly spool this. You've got to be like in front of it to be able to like move the winch line the way it needs to go. The reality, I'm just going to be doing this on a street. I'm going to be doing it in sort of a controlled environment. I'm not going to be doing it under stress or tension or anything like that. I'm literally going to have my vehicle in neutral, and I'm going to have the other vehicle that I'm winching off of, and I'm going to be going up a slight incline just to make sure I've got a little bit of pressure, steady pressure on this. Could something bad happen? Of course, but I think the likelihood is significantly reduced given the circumstances. I'm sure there's tons of other safety things that need to be mentioned, but like I said, I'm not an expert. If you have a good resource, or if you've got a quick bullet point list of some good safety pointers for winching, go ahead and leave them in the description below. Not description, leave them in the comments below. I'm just gonna stuff this in here a little bit, kind of tie it up, because I'm just going like right over there. Weirdly enough, after the last video I made, I had a lot of comments on the sandals that I'm wearing. I'm wearing Chacos, and the reason why I'm wearing Chacos is because I have a lot of like knee and ankle problems. Like, well, a couple of years ago they like hurt all the time, and one of my knees was swollen, and I go in to get fitted for running shoes, and they're like, why are you wearing Vans? Those are terrible support, and that's the reason why your knees and ankles hurt. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Anyway, I started wearing good supporting shoes, like running shoes and some Chacos, stuff like that. And like all those issues went completely away. So I'm a big, big fan of that kind of stuff. I have Chaco boots. If I wear shoes, I've got Chaco shoes. I also have other shoes that I wear, like mostly running shoes, athletic shoes that have the type of arch support that I need. So yeah, I thought that was kind of weird that everybody wanted to like comment on my sandals. Are my feet gross to you or something? I don't think I have like the prettiest feet, but I don't know. I guess that kind of stuff doesn't matter to me, so maybe it bothers you. It's kind of a weird thing to be bothered by, but whatever. Ow, that hurt right there on my butt cheek. This is the Big Mama van. We've had this for a long time. It's been paid off for a long time. We've put about 135,000 miles on it. When people tell me that they think Fords stink, I tell them I have a 2011 Ford E350 that I've got 135,000 miles on it and I've never had an issue. So maybe some other Fords stink. This Ford, it's been a great vehicle. We're gonna keep it. This is what my wife has been driving for a long time. Bought her the Land Cruiser so that we could have something a little bit newer for her and so that we could have a second overland vehicle when she's ready. But for the meantime, we're gonna keep the Big Mama van because we can't all fit in the Land Cruiser when we go on family road trips. We can all fit in the Big Mama van. The Big Mama van, she provides. Okay, so in a perfect world, I would have 2 people in addition to myself. I would have 1 person in the Big Mama van, and the Big Mama van would be on, and this person would have the van in neutral and have their foot on the brake. I'd have a second person driving the 4Runner. The 4Runner would be on, the vehicle would be in neutral, and this person would be steering. I'm alone. I have no additional help. They all left and went somewhere to play. But this is what I'm gonna do. And it's not ideal because really in a backup situation, I'm not even gonna show you that. In a backup situation, a good thing is to have the vehicle's wheels chocked, the one that you're gonna be using to pull off of. I don't have my wheel chocks. I don't have like just wheel chocks sitting around. The only ones I have are in the turtleback, and that's not here anymore because that's another story. But what I am gonna do, and I think it's gonna be okay, it's not ideal again, but I think it'll be fine, is I'm gonna have the e-brake on the van, and it's gonna be in park, and I think it'll be okay. If I was pulling on some really, really serious weight or major hill or something, I think that would be a bad thing. But we don't have a whole lot of lateral weight being pulled here. It's just gonna be pulling the 4Runner on a very, very slight grade. Okay. So like I said earlier, we're gonna make sure we've got a closed loop kind of deal. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but it sounds good to me. And I'm going to basically take this guy and, again, I don't think towing off of these thingamajiggers right here is super ideal either, but I think it's gonna work for this particular scenario. That is good to go. Let's go put some pressure and tension on tension. Let's go put some tension on the winch line. I forgot to mention some stuff. Rubbing alcohol. The reason why this has to be done is you want the winch line to be nice and even, all like on the whole spool drum barrel thingamajigger. You don't just want to haphazardly make it go on there because it ends up being clumped and like uneven, and if you end up in like a serious winching scenario, I don't know, I think that you just want it to be nice and even. So anyway, that's just what I've read. That's what I've read you're supposed to do. I still have pine sap on my hands. I feel the sticky when my hands dry. When I'm gonna bring tension on the line, I'm going to slowly bring the winch line in and make sure that it's spooled on there. And I'm not gonna put any vehicle weight on the winch line until I've got 6 or 7, maybe 10 loops around the drum, because the pin that the winch line is connected to the drum, that's not load bearing. Like, that's not intended, it's just a little screw. It's not intended to hold the weight of the vehicle. What will hold the weight of the vehicle is, and there's physics behind this, and if you're a physics guy and you can let us know, I feel like I've said this before, let us know in comments below. But basically, after you get about 6 or 7 or 8 times around the drum, it's safe to hold the vehicle weight because it's not going to, the pin won't come, it's strong enough. I've actually already got it wound around the drum enough, but I don't have tension on the line. I want tension on the line, and once a little bit of tension on the line, and once I get, actually it's not gonna be tension on the line, it's gonna be really, really close to tension on the line, and then I'm gonna go inside the vehicle and I'll put it in neutral. I'll slowly let it ease back to where it's pulling on the line. All right, that's pretty good. Oh, there's no tension, so this is not super dangerous, but I don't think you should do that. We have tension on the line. I've got something I want to do. There's a bunch of handy little Velcro things in there to keep it nice and tight here. See? Check that out. And that way if the winch line snaps, this thing will just drop it right to the ground. Just like that. Okay, so I'm just going to put my gloves on and I'm going to slowly guide the winch line in by just hitting the in button on the winch controller and just slowly watching and guiding the line to go in the way I want it to go in, which is nice even rows. So yeah, let's get started. I'd say the last 10 or so feet, you don't really need to tension because you're not gonna winch anybody with the last 10 or 15 feet. You really ought to be winching people probably, I don't really have any idea. I'd probably have 60 to 75 feet of my winch line out to winch with because I think that way you'll get the maximum effect from physics. That exercise is pretty much over. Put the rocks back in the field. So I believe one of the cool features of these flat link things is they'll just rest right up against the fair lead thing. You know what? I've got like a crap. I have like a sheath that goes on this that is supposed to protect it or something, and I forgot to put it on. I'd have to take this whole thing off, just forget about it, not putting it on. So I believe you just want to keep it a little snug. It's not going to hurt anything by keeping it a little snug. And there we go, look at that. Nice and clean, looks good, it's on there, so look nice and snug, won't rattle around, looks good. I'd say that's about it, folks. Just for kicks and giggles, I unplugged the remote to see if it would work. Like maybe this was charging it and it didn't charge it and it's not working, so. Maybe I just need to take the screws out and replace the batteries. I have to figure that out another time. I'll have to think about that some other time because I don't have time today. The light's on though. See, there's a light right here. Oh well. All right. And that's my video on respooling a winch. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, my name is Jason Kirchie with Swell Runner. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you are already subscribed, I really appreciate the support. And we'll probably not see you for just a little bit here. Let's see here, today is Friday, May 11th, and on Monday, I'm headed out to Overland Expo West, and we're gonna make a couple of stops on the way out there, take our time just a little bit. It actually takes about 2.5 days to get there from here, to get to Flagstaff. And then after the expo, we're gonna go see some interesting stuff as well. Our plans are kind of in the air as of right now, because everything just got changed on us 2 days ago. But so yeah, that's where we're at. You're not gonna see me upload for a couple of weeks. Keep an eye on our Instagram. If you're not following us on Instagram, it's instagram.com/swellrunner. Links in the description below, as always. Probably be sharing lots of stories and photos and pictures and all that other stuff. And also, I've been thinking about coming up with like a cool thing to say at the end of every one of our movies. Here's what I've come up with. Are you ready? And that's how the cookie crumbles. Just kidding. I'm not really gonna say that at the end of every one of our movies. It's kind of stupid and silly. That was kind of the point.